Hello and welcome to Just Bleed Radio. I'm your host Dangermouse and this is episode 13. Unlucky for some, especially for me because my picks for the cards sucked. As usual, I'm joined by our trusty editor, Super Dave Fairtax. Say hello, Dave.
Hi, guys.
And Austin is back with us. Say hello, Austin.
What's up?
The UFC seems to be bouncing between outstanding events and Apex cards that are pretty, meh, to be brutal. The Dariush versus Tsarukyan Austin card, congratulations, Austin, did not disappoint. It was, if I may say, a slamming card, and in all, 10 bonuses were handed out to the fighters, so we have plenty to talk about. We may even have a little chat about the BKFC card that followed the UFC card. So with no further ado, let's get into it, and we may as well lead off with the main event. And as Austin has just come back, why don't you take us away, Austin?
Thank you. And yes, I was very pleased with my event. And no, on a serious note, sadness is the first thing that came to mind. The legit moment I felt this was when you saw Armin just land a beautiful combination on Dariush, because it seemed like Dariush came to fight. He looked ready. He looked pretty stoic. Armin was ready as well, but it just didn't. We didn't see a fight. We just saw a finish, and that was the thing. It's like he led early with that head kick, and I was like, oh damn, that's spicy. I like that. I like where this is heading. And then all of a sudden, like they're kind of feeling out. They're Dariush is kind of circling and playing the long game, staying outside of his range, and then in one moment, the knee, like it was a right hook and then a left, right? And then just the follow-up shots. Dariush just no time for recovery. Just the minute he got hit again and then again. Then he was on his back. He wasn't out completely. He was out pretty much as soon as the third shot landed, and then woke up, I think, again on the canvas. Was trying to defend himself, and then that was it. Like it took maybe 2 shots, and it was like already over. But then they, kind of 1 or 2 follow-ups after that. But it was like I was hoping Dariush could show up, and that just was not the case. Armin is pretty much here, and he's whatever that fight was with Joaquin Silva, that he had previously, that we all doubted him on afterwards. Like, Dave even said it too. It's like he just decided to, fight unintelligently in that scrap. But in this case, it's just more like, damn, he's here. This is his moment, and I think he's just 1 fight away from the title, more or less. And that's all I got on it.
Yeah, well, it's back to where I'm just looking at the results now, and it was 64 seconds he did it in. So he even beat Aspinall's finish of Pavlovich. Pretty impressive there. Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's not that much to talk about really. I picked Dariush, so I was expecting him to do a little better. I thought there might be some wrestling involved, and there wasn't. Armin, as you've both now mentioned, just came out to fight, and he took care of business in 64 seconds. So yeah, I can't really add anything to that one. I guess it's a case of looking where he'll go next. We could have a quick look at that before, unless Dave just wants to jump straight in.
I thought Tsarukyan had a pretty good performance. It is nice to be proven right about these things, and I've been saying this about Tsarukyan for a long time, and it's good that he proved me right. He's a decent striker, actually. He just always starts to wrestle, and he doesn't do any damage while he wrestles, and he gets in like a wrestling mood and just gives up on his striking. But his striking always looked somewhat a good foundation and effective, but he never stayed into it. And this fight was just all striking, pretty much no grappling. Beneil came out, Austin said, he threw a head kick, might have threw a body kick. Armin's defense was looking pretty good. Armin was pumping out a decent jab. And then what I thought the final combo is Armin threw out a jab, and Beneil had his high block up, and then he threw a right hook, and actually it might have grazed Beneil or kind of went behind him. But then it was kind of weird. He just, right after that, he immediately grabbed into a double collar tie, which I thought was really cool. And Beneil saw it and he went to put his hands and try to stop the knee coming up, but the knee just went right through his guard and kind of smacked him. And then from there, that was the beginning of the end. So striking only, I thought Tsarukyan looked really good. He fought to his potential. Kind of shows what he can do if he doesn't just rely on his wrestling. I picked Beneil to win this one. I thought Beneil was going to crush him. I was dead wrong in that part of it. But it is kind of nice to see a contender get a win. And as far as what's next, I kind of like the rematch with Gamrot, maybe? Gamrot?
Yeah.
That's all I had.
That would make sense.
What if Armin doesn't get that fight?
Well, Fiziv's out, isn't he? He's out injured at the moment.
Then give him Dustin Poirier. Fuck it, dude. Dustin will probably turn down the fight, but offer it to him.
No, yeah, I think that's fair too.
Chandler's after his red panty night, if he gets it or not.
Yeah, he's never fighting anybody else again, and he'll wait out the rest of his career probably.
Beneil's beaten. Yeah, there's only Poirier left because Gaethje's holding firm for his title shot. Oliveira may have the next title shot. We don't know yet. So yeah.
There's oh shit, who is it? Not Benoit? No, he's not there yet. He needs like a Bobby Green or a Dan Hooker to fight first. I think
he's ranked 11 now.
Is he?
Yeah. I didn't know.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
someone brought it up today.
It was Favola that he beat, and Favola was ranked. Yeah, so that he basically took what he killed. Okay.
Yep.
That's a step back there, because that basically means that I would say Armin's third right now, behind. I think it's weird because he technically didn't lose to Gamrot, but he did on the scorecards. But so he'd be like, fourth technically, I guess, because it goes Gaethje or Oliveira and Gaethje. I guess you can intermingle, and you would put Oliveira above Gaethje, and then you'd have Dustin maybe, and then if you don't care about Dustin, then it's Gamrot and Armin, right? So
pretty much,
it's a clusterfuck because now there's no movement until Islam fights.
Yeah.
Damn it! And I don't blame Islam. Islam just took on short notice opponent, the featherweight champion, and killed him.
He said he has said he wants to be more active next year. So
okay, well that's good. He's got plenty of contenders now.
I think he said he wants to fight 3 more times. 3 times.
Oh, sweet.
Which would be
okay.
Awesome.
Good. That actually relieves a lot of issues that I was thinking of because of that whole champion thing that's going around. All of a sudden, everybody wants to be double champion again when we thought we were done with this.
That makes sense as his motive, though, because three more defenses at lightweight would put him above Khabib for defenses, making the greatest lightweight of all time, and then he can go up to welterweight and become a double champ there. Never bother whether he vacates the 155 or tries to come back and defend it. I would imagine he'd just vacate it.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, him and Armin would be getting a rematch. Would be a beautiful title fight.
All right, let's jump onto the second fight then. Jalen Turner defeats Bobby Green by KO, strikes 2 minutes 49 of round 1.
I thought this was an interesting fight. One thing that was hugely noticeable was the size difference. Like, man, Turner is just tall at lightweight.
6'3".
Yeah, and with Bobby Green's style, he's got that hands down kind of fun style to watch, and it either works or it doesn't with him, and there's like no in between. And if it doesn't work, he normally gets flatlined. I thought he started off looking okay. He landed a good combo or two, but about halfway into round 1, Jalen started doing a really good job. Not really landing the first strike, but the second strike in the combo, and he rocked Green 3 times. And Green's defense didn't work that great, and I think Jalen's reach kind of played into that a little bit. And then at the end there, it was just kind of beautiful from Turner. He throws a jab, and Bobby actually sees the jab coming, but he's got a hand down, and he kind of slips, and he slips to the right of the jab, and Jalen was actually expecting it, and so Bobby starts lining up on a big counter, and Jalen just threw like the cleanest hook right into where he was moving because he like knew he was going to slip that way and caught him, and then that was the beginning of that end of that fight. And you can kind of see that coming about halfway through round one. Like I said, when he started cracking him good and rocking him, you could see Jalen was figuring him out, and Bobby's defense wasn't quite holding up. And it was a good win for Turner. Terrible stoppage, and that's about all I got on it.
Well, this is the thing. Okay, so about the stoppage, this is what fighters want. I mean, what do they always say? They want Dan Miragliotta as their ref because he'll let them die in there. This is what they want. This is par for the course. When guys are like, "Oh, I want them to go out," like I want a definitive end. This is a definitive end. This is a possibility every single time. Yet they forget that sometimes. But that's neither here nor there. Other than that, I mean, Jalen basically showed what being a tall, lanky striker in this division can do for you, and he it's not quite fair exactly for Bobby Green to take this guy on short notice when he had a lot of momentum coming into this fight. It he was essentially fighting a middleweight size lightweight. Wait, he had like a 7-inch reach advantage. Am I not mistaken?
Yeah, something like that, 6 or 7. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's also about like I'm not a foot, but close to it, and taller than him. And it's just like he had nowhere to run. Bobby Green's used to a lot of movement and missing or slipping shots and whatnot, and being smooth with his defense, and he had nowhere to go. By the time he evaded one strike, the other strike was right behind it, and he was already out of room to run. And Bobby, every time he tried to close the distance to get a combination in or get a shot in, he literally was walking into a counter. He had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and nowhere to duck to. And it basically played into Jalen's game. And this is the thing where it's like Jalen has been all over the place as far as his consistency. He had a 5-fight win streak, I think, at one point in this division, and then lost it. And realistically, he's that dude who's good enough to be a contender in this division. He needs that consistency. And then he was also coming into this fight with that whole there is a lot of doubt. He looked like he was having weight trouble, especially that on the scale. Like he had to,
is he the Kevin Holland of lightweight then?
No, because Kevin Holland doesn't doubt himself. Kevin Holland just fights to the level of his competition. Jalen Turner tends to kind of have peaks and flows because he has doubt sometimes. And that's the thing. I think he allows himself to get into wars, whereas his confidence kind of wavers occasionally. That's not always the case with Holland. Holland's always confident. He just faces, like, he'll fight to the level of his competition. And it's not like he's looking to, have a war every single time. He's looking to try to fight the guy and finish him, where Jalen's trying to finish him too. I think it's just he has confidence issues sometimes. And then also he's not the best with his grappling defense. Holland chooses to not care about grappling defense more often than not. So I think that's the thing with Jalen. I think it's just a confidence thing. He's still young too. I don't foresee him not having issues picking up his defense or even just like having, finally worked on his weight issues. Granted, he took this fight on short notice. I think he could be a contender. I think he can. He just needs to keep that consistency. Hell, a rematch with Dan Hooker would be great, but there's not. This is it. Like he's up in the rankings now.
Yeah.
Bobby Green. What was Bobby Green ranked before this? Like what? 13th?
Bobby was 13th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
so,
Austin.
Yeah.
Fuck you, man.
What?
Didn't Dan Hooker just beat him?
I know, but like where is he
Like, what
going
are
to
you
go?
trying to do
No
to
one's going
Dan
to want
Hooker,
to
man? He
fight
just
him.
beat him. Like, come on, dude.
Well,
Let's give Dan a break.
literally. Well, what do you want him to do? He can't fight up because no one's going to take that fight. He's not high enough ranked to take the for anyone to want to take it unless he fights backwards. And that's like, if you lose backwards, you lose your ranking. he's stuck in the same pool as Dan, and that's the thing.
I mean, he's not gonna fight. He's not gonna get. They're not gonna do a Hooker rematch. And I mean,
No, I'm throwing it out there. It's hypothetical. Like if he's stuck with that, I mean, you might as well just throw him in there with Benoit Saint Denis. Like that's a fight that's interesting.
what about like what about that or like Drew Dober or fuck it, give him Fiziev. I mean, Fiziev won't take
No,
that
but
fight.
Steve's a little
Just 'cause
higher
of
than
rank.
that. Like remember, this is the prima donna division now.
Well, like Mike Lano called him out, but I don't think he wants that
He's
fight.
that's the thing.
Fighting down again though.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's not in the rankings. Jalen just got to the rankings now. I doubt you'd want to lose that
Moicano is
ranking right off the
14
bat.
right now.
Is he 14?
Yeah, he's 14 ranked. Yeah.
Well, maybe
BSD
you could do that one.
BSD's ranked 11th, so he's one place above Turner. So it makes sense for Turner, but not for BSD.
What's RDA doing?
That's at
He's
number
not a
7
lightweight anymore.
fighting. Oh no, he fights welter now, doesn't he?
Yeah,
He's ranked at 10.
his last two. Well, that's bullshit. We know that.
Doesn't
All
help.
right, yeah, that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to say it's too soon for a Hooker rematch, and I ain't trying to do Hooker like that. And so I disagree.
Well, I don't think
with
he's
that
going to
part of
fight
your
the rest
take.
of this. I don't think he's going to fight for a year now because he just literally had surgery, right?
Yeah, but I don't know how long it's going to take to heal. And I mean, he doesn't have to come back into doing something better than Turner.
No, it's
And
true.
he's ranked 9
yeah.
too. He's not going to fight backwards again.
Is he?
Like
Jesus Christ, he is.
Hooker's ranked number 9. So
God, these rankings are ridiculous because now nobody wants to fight each other. Jesus.
Yeah, again. Yeah.
what about Hooker versus Bobby Green?
That'd be fun.
But Bobby just lost, and then Hooker won't be available until he heals. So I mean, that's it's a hypothetical for the Turner fight, but like in the best case scenario, I think we have either Moicano step up because Jalen took this fight on short notice, or he fights Benoit Saint Denis, who's looking for a fight now.
Well, Moicano called him out last night, but I think Turner said he wasn't interested because Moicano is the equivalent of a cloud. He's like always chasing after someone, like he was chasing after Green and chasing after Hooker. And so I think he shot that down. But I mean, that's just post fight talk. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Benoit Saint Denis is the thing. I would. That's what fight I would look for if I'm Jalen Turner.
Yeah, for sure. Be popular.
Oh yeah.
He's definitely on the up and up.
I like it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway is Austin thought it was a great stoppage, and he wishes
Yeah,
there
I'm
was
sorry.
more
I
like
was just
it.
gonna, I was just going to jump back onto the referee, and we didn't talk about that much.
No,
Yeah,
I didn't say it wasn't a bad stoppage, or that it was. I just saying this is
terrible.
what the fighters want. This is what they want.
DC called it the worst stoppage he's ever seen. So
The ref
definitely.
said he felt terrible about it.
Who did? Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Turner.
The referee
Yeah.
that did it, he said he felt terrible, but
Yeah.
Austin wants.
This is
I
not
don't know.
me. This is what people want, and this is what fighters want. I'm just telling you this is the result of what you guys are asking for.
Well,
Okay.
That's
I don't
it.
ask for that. I asked for a good. The fighters, if you're talking about, yeah, that's what they're asking for, maybe. No, I think.
Oh no,
Most
this is
fighters would not be. I mean, some fans might want that, I guess, but that was it was like 10, 12 unanswered strikes. His head bouncing off the canvas, and we saw how tough the canvas was last night.
He was still conscious.
I bet Frankie Edgar and Dom Cruz think it was a great stoppage. They probably thought it was stopped
Yeah.
too soon.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like,
I was
wait.
still in it, ref.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what Bobby looks like when he comes back, and then we can maybe make a judgment. That's a Tony Ferguson versus Gaethje level of a beating he took there. It just happened in 5 seconds rather than
Yeah, it was
5
just
rounds.
unconscious or barely in it. Yeah.
Definitely not a good
So
one. So yeah, then let's jump on to it. Davison Figueiredo defeats Rob Font by unanimous decision, 30-27 across all 3 cards. Judges got it right. We weren't sure what Figueiredo was going to look like jumping up a weight class, and quite frankly, he looked great. I did pick Font. I thought Font's been very tough lately. He's looked fairly good as well as far as I recall in his last few fights. But Figueiredo just looked better, I think, in just about every facet of the game. Great deal of respect shown by the two as well at the end. is always nice to see. Battle, a real strong battle, but no argument with it being dominated by Figueiredo. And I'll just throw it over to one of you two to have a go at.
I'll take this. My whole thing was that I was just kind of worried that he would underestimate his opponent, considering that he had been a champion at 125, and I'm speaking of Figueiredo. Davison Figueiredo is that kind of guy who's just kind of like a throwback fighter. He's willing to eat a shot and then take it and give a shot. Like he's got a chin, but the weight class was no longer fit for him, whether it be due to the weight cuts or the fight style he was bringing in. Maybe that fight IQ also had something to do with it, but I believe more of it was more the weight class thing than anything. Then he fights a top 10 guy in Rob Font. Probably the best fight for him to test whether or not he's capable of competing in this weight class. He has holes in his game. It's obvious. He leans too far back sometimes. He doesn't have the greatest head movement. He still eats a couple of shots here and there, but that power seems to carry. And that's great because he needs it. Otherwise, he'd be struggling in this weight class. And he hit Font a couple of times, and Font kind of walked through a couple of those strikes. And then Font would get hit with the counter, and Font would get wobbled.
I'll say he went chicken legs a few times.
Well, yeah. And that's the thing. It's like usually if it's at flyweight, Davidson is putting people down by that point. But this is bantamweight, and these guys kind of carry a little bit more muscle, a little bit more mass. He looked like a decent sized bantamweight in there. He didn't look super small. You could tell Font was the bigger guy, but it looked like it was a decent fit for him. However, his wanting to get into a firefight, I'm kind of concerned with, because I'm not so much concerned with his chin. I'm concerned with him giving up rounds and allowing the fight to be competitive. Because I don't think the scorecards represented how close this fight was, in my opinion. Yes, he got, he put Rob Font down a couple of times, and he was able to kind of hit hard and wobble him more than once. But Font was in this fight. He was never out of it.
Yeah, but which round would you give him?
I would have given him the second, and then the first was pretty much like controlled by Font until he got hit twice and then wobbled twice, dropped once. It's a typical Rob Font fight. He's winning until he gets hurt. So you can't be mad at Font for being in control and then losing it because he's winning on points. But it was still a competitive fight. But this is a pretty good landing spot for Figueiredo. It was the proper test that he needed. Not somebody who's outside of the rankings, not somebody who's in the top 5, someone who's just around that top 10, who's a competitive out every time, and that's Rob Font. And I think we had a pretty good performance. I don't like his chances against the top 10, the rest of them. I don't like his chances against the top 5. I think he's too old to be changing weight classes this late. But I mean, if he gets wins, good for him. I don't know who to put him up against though. It's division stacked. So, where you go.
How old he is? Oh yeah, 35. That magical age. The Nobel.
Yeah. Yes. The stats reign true.
Dave, you got anything on this one?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good, impressive from Figgy. I was dead wrong about how I thought this fight was going to go. Also, I thought Font was going to go in there and make Figgy look like a flyweight, kind of like he did to Sergio Pettis. And at the beginning of the fight, I thought he did make him look like a flyweight, not skills wise, but size wise. Austin might disagree. I guess Figueiredo might be a little bit thicker, but Rob definitely did have the size advantage. I thought it was a pretty good fight. I thought Figgy looked all right, except what Austin said with the head movement and stuff holds true. Striking wise, it actually was really close. Font landed a total of 46 significant strikes. Figgy landed a total of 45 significant strikes. I couldn't find any round. I couldn't even find any round to give to Font, even if I wanted to. Even if they landed similar strikes, I thought that Figgy's clearly had more impact. Also, I was pretty surprised with how well his takedown offense worked. He got 6 to 7 takedowns. He had 4 minutes of control time. and so it was a pretty obvious decision for him. I thought he looked good, and I thought Font looked okay. I think he just wasn't prepared for the takedowns, and he just doesn't do that great against guys with power. And overall, I think he looked good. Next, I kind of want him to see. I want to see him fight Peter Yan. That's what I hope they do next.
That'd be a good fight.
Is Jan available?
I have no idea.
He was injured, wasn't he? I don't know how long he's
Oh,
still.
okay.
Sean Brady defeats Kelvin Gastelum by submission. Kimura at 1 minute 43 of round 3. I picked Gastelum for this one. I picked Brady in his last fight, and then he lost. So I picked against him this time, and that was a horrible mistake. Obviously, because Gastelum did not look good, I don't think, throughout the entire fight, as long as it lasted. Just dominated by Brady. I guess I'm maybe surprised Brady didn't. I'm trying to think whether Brady was as great ground and pound or not. Not necessarily last night, but just a dominating performance again by Brady. And as we're trying to flick through these fairly quickly, I'll throw it open again onto someone else. Oh, I will say this. I did see this post. There was something on Twitter. Gastelum was awarded his black belt by 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu the other night. So Dave's going to be inserting a clip here.
Yeah, I thought this was a really good performance from Brady. I was really impressed with his cardio, how well it held up. His his win in Chiesa, but where he kind of got beat up in round 3. I guess his nose was all fucked up. He had nose surgery, and then Bilal smashed him. I really expected the fight to go kind of like the Bilal fight, but worse, because I thought Kelvin had decent takedown defense. I thought he had good hands, good cardio, and all that shit. But Sean Brady went in there and did the thing. He got his takedowns pretty much every time. Like, Kevin Gastelum's takedown defense has just gotten worse, like Darren Till level worse. Like, I mean, I think round 2 he like fell down at the beginning of the round, and then that was it. But Sean Brady looked great. He looked strong. The cardio held up good. I was wrong about how the fight would go. Interested to see what's next for Sean Brady, and he did a hell of a job. He needed this win, and I mean, I felt like there was a lot of doubts about Sean Brady coming into this fight, and there still might be some doubts, but man, he looked pretty good. Kelvin, or I'll say this, Kelvin, I don't know. Like, I don't think Kelvin was in this fight, but I mean, even if he was, he probably wouldn't have done much better. But I mean, I don't know what's going on with Kelvin.
No. I don't think you're wrong on your take. If we're looking at Kelvin's just had a history of just having moments where he shows up and then doesn't. This is just another one for the pile. Like,
yeah, there's like On a Mission for Gold, Kelvin. That's like really good, and then there's like
he was
other
trying.
Kelvin.
Well, I mean, yes, he got beaten and ran over, but still, like he had moments of success in that first round. It like all those scrambles that we saw, like that looked like old school Kelvin, like the one
once
who
he
won
got
the
taken
Ultimate
down,
Fighter.
he did do actually not in round 2. Disregard.
No, it was all round 1, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That legitimately that first round was like old school Kelvin scrabbling, like him winning the Ultimate Fighter against Uriah Hall, and like just showing like, you know what, I'm not going to go down without a fight. I'm going to keep going. I don't care. He even got a reversal on Sean Brady, and then started landing some ground and pound off of that. Like he was in it, and then just that like you said, Dave, the minute he decided to throw a low kick and then just slipped, that was it in the second round, right? Like literally in the first 10 seconds of the first round, right? Or second round.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like he just couldn't get back out. I think Kelvin's problem in this fight in particular, specifically this fight, was that he reverted to, I have to defend, and therefore I have to kind of like not allow this guy to get, in my guard. I have to be the aggressor. And then he just forgot, oh, I also have to remember to kind of keep on my takedown defense. Like he just gave him the opportunity. And then
Well, he probably saw the Chiesa and the Bilal fights also and thought he was going to just go in there and fucking piece him up.
oh yeah, 100%. And then Brady doubled down on the thing that he was good at. Whereas in the Bilal fight, he's just like, all right, well, I can just kind of roll over this guy because he's smaller and I don't have to worry about his striking. He doubled down on his grappling and just did not give Kelvin a chance. Like, that was the thing I think that was best for Brady, because he made Kelvin have to accept the position. Kelvin usually doesn't accept position. And in this case, it's like the grappler is going to just stick to his game. He's not going to deviate from it. He didn't really have powerful ground and pound. He was just fishing for opportunities to finish the fight, and that was it. Like a standard Sean Brady performance, more or less. And he needs to fight a striker next. He has to, and not a former middleweight. He needs to fight a new welterweight. And he lost to the last one that he fought. He needs to fight another one. I don't know who you put him up against. I'm thinking you probably either put him up against Jack Della Maddalena or Ian Gary.
I like the JDM fight. I don't know if JDM will take that fight, but I like it. I like both
He
of those
might.
fights.
He might. He's crazy enough, but
Yeah.
still. And he'll probably lose it because, takedown defense is in his strong suit. But we'll see.
Do you want to take us away on the Guida fight? Joaquim Silva defeats Clay Guida by unanimous decision. 29-28, all three judges.
Yeah. What do you say about a 41-year-old lightweight who has seemingly been the same fighter for the past 20 years?
Plays crazy, yeah.
He never seems to stop, even when he's hurt. It's weird. It's almost like Guida has gotten better with his striking as time has gone on. He's just not as all over the place. He's slowed down a little bit, you could tell. Like he's got that weird head bobble movement. It's all trunk and not head, And then he's throwing out the jabs. He's got decent combinations, and he just knows he was in this fight. Honestly, if he doesn't get hurt at any one of those points, he probably wins the fight. Realistically, I mean, the grappling seemed to favor him, and he was not getting submitted. He was surviving the positions and then actually landing some ground and pound at certain points. But like, if you're looking at a guy with longevity, look no further than Clay Guida. Clay, the Carpenter Guida, is a guy you can always bet on to be exciting, even when he's probably going to lose against a better fighter. And it's a weird thing to see a younger. That's the thing. Clay Guida is 41. Joaquim Silva is 34. And he's not. This is the middle of the road. This is the only type of lightweight Clay Guida should be fighting. He shouldn't be fighting anyone that's in the top 10 or anything else. He should not be fighting anyone lower than this. Like this is his middle ground. He's a test for anybody who's coming up, but still like a guy you want to always have on a card, and especially the main card.
Yeah, maybe UFC 300 for Clay. Who knows?
Him versus Jim Miller. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I was just looking at Clay's record. UFC 64 was his first UFC fight.
Jesus Christ.
2006, so 17 years ago.
Oh yeah.
It's probably people on the Discord younger than that.
Oh, that's 100% true.
So yeah, I mean
that's all I have.
Yeah, I get anything, Dave, on this one.
No, I agree with pretty much everything Austin said. It was a fight. I was impressed with Jim Miller's durability, or not Jim Miller, Clay Guida's durability.
Yeah, I was laughing at. I forget one of the commentators saying it might have been Bisping saying that Clay had walked 3 miles just getting to the arena.
Yeah,
That's pretty funny.
That's such a Clay thing to do.
Yeah, he bounces all over the place. I want some of wherever it is he's on. Yeah. Dustin Solfus defeats Punahele Soriano by submission, rear naked choke at 4 minutes 10 of round 2. And I think, didn't you pick Stolfus, Austin?
who?
Did I?
I'm just looking.
No, that was Dave probably. I definitely picked everything wrong on this main card.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking of the earlier fights.
Yeah, this fight was a good performance from Dustin Stoltzfus.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I felt bad for Daz. I think Daz was into Punahele Soriano. But I think Dustin kind of just had his way with him for the most part and got a nice submission.
Well, I had faith in Punahele Soriano. Is that's, I'm not Hawaiian, so I wouldn't know how to. I gotta ask Daz next time. But um, he has the same thing that he's done in every single fight, where he walks in, he's lackadaisical with his stance and his striking. He just throws the stipple, 1, 2, and then it's always the power right hand, and he's usually pretty good at finding that mark in the button. But like, he didn't have anything else after that. He hurt Stolfus multiple times in this fight, and he got dropped at the end of the first by a simple straight left, I think. And it's almost like, okay, shit, I have to find something else. Obviously, this guy's going to tie me. And then even when he didn't change his game plan, he still hurt Stolfus. And then, he steps into his guard and just can't finish him. He has him hurt and just can't finish him. And then Stolfus just manages to switch his stance and get into a takedown. And Pulahane can't defend the choke. It's almost like he was counting on just kind of becoming a champion with a simple overhand right, and it's like, you're not Dan Henderson. like he's got a chin on him, but he just, there's a point where there's a lack of development, and I don't know if that's just because he's not trying or he's just not able to develop. And maybe it's a good thing that he lost this fight, so that it wasn't because of injury. He's had tough fights before. He's capable of winning against decent guys, and he's not the biggest middleweight either. He's a stocky kid, but Stolfus isn't even the biggest middleweight in this division. I think they both have faced big guys, and I know Stolfus, I think, got knocked out by Alex Pereira, but it's disappointing to see this is where Pulahane is, and I think he can bounce back from this. He just needs to adapt. He needs to have different weapons. He needs to have a decent grappling game that's actually complementing his striking. He needs to be able to throw out a jab and not look for the overhand right every single time. But I don't know if he's willing to change. And if he is, great. I think he's young enough. I don't think he's 34, 35. I think he's still young. So he's got time to learn. He's got time. Stolfus looked good, but there's still a lot of holes in his game. This is a good win for him. Both men need to develop their games.
So next up was Misha Tate defeating Julia Avalabi by submission, 1 minute 15 of round 3. Another rear naked choke for Misha Tate. A legend comes back and does it again. Very grinding fight, obviously, but I guess she did get the finish at the end. I didn't think Misha could do it at 37 years old, and she's proved me massively wrong. I think it was probably at least 2 10-8 rounds. I'll have to offer that one up to the experience of Dave there, because we always argue over what 10-8 is. But maybe because it's Cupcake, he'll declare it's a 10-8. Who knows?
No, I'd give it rounds 1 and 2 10-8, Cupcake or no Cupcake. Man, I thought that was a hell of a performance from Misha Tate. Like,
Absolutely.
Avila might just suck, but Misha Tate outlanded her like 32-3 strikes, had 4 or 5 takedowns, almost 11 minutes of control. She looked very physical, just did a great job. And like, to reiterate, I don't know if that's because of the level of her competition or whatnot, but I mean, just overall, I was really impressed with her performance. I was really disappointed with her post-fight. I mean, I did like that she said she's going out with the kids and she's going to go get like cake and ice cream and all that shit. Like, I love it. But I mean, I think that was like, after such a good performance and such a win, she should have really called someone out, like called for something at UFC 300. Like, Ben Crazy, call for Ronda, call for Holly Holm. Like, you just did a great job. Like, call someone out. And some people don't like that, and I guess I can understand. Maybe she just wants to enjoy what she did and all that. But I think if she made the right call out, there could have been a lot of hype on an upcoming fight. And so to answer your question, I had the first 2 rounds 10-8.
Good.
Yes.
I guess she probably thinks there's no chance of a title shot at her age, so she's probably just fighting for cash, I guess, and for whatever it is she wants to do for herself.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
She. Do you see who's fighting for the title? It's Myra Buena Silva and it's Raquel Pennington. She has a chance.
Yeah, I guess you might well be right there. Yeah, whether she get
Like
another
not.
chance.
Yeah, no, it's like it's not because I don't think they're good. I think it's just because of the name value. And like Dave said, all she needs is one person. If I'm gonna go on the fight, I felt like there were moments of 10-8s. I would have not have awarded 10-8s altogether. I think I probably would have just been unanimous decision off the board. And then I probably would have
32 to
been
3
looking.
significant strikes.
I know. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm looking at the
10:55
opponent and not who the
top
opponent
control.
is. I know. I know, Dave. I know. It's not impressive to me. It's like she just got to win. If it was more like a situation like Randy Couture coming back to win the title after losing and then beating up Tim Sylvia for like 5 rounds. Okay.
Yeah, or if
And
it
it's
was
a
like
Tim.
anyone but Avila, maybe.
Yes, exactly. That's my whole thing.
Okay.
Like,
All right. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want to do that.
That's my whole like. If it was another bantamweight in this division, let's say, shit. I don't know. Macy Sejean, who's a bantamweight in this division, that's got a decent like pull. Irene Aldana, fuck, even Holly Holm, like any one of them. And that okay, this is a different story. She's got the
Who
win against the name, you know.
who doesn't
But
want the
even
Holly
then,
Holm rematch also? Like who doesn't want that?
oh no. That's the thing. Is like we don't even know what the situation with the title is going to look like now. Because then you have, I think, honestly, she probably could have called out Juliana Pena. That would have been the call out, and that's the only call out that would have made sense. Because if she can't call out Holly Holm because Holly
They might
Holm
be
just lost
friends.
some. Well, I mean, possibly, but even then, like, well, no,
She might have
I
coached
think
her to victory on Tough, and they might be like tight.
no, I think she actually fought her. I think she fought her.
Oh,
If I'm not
shit.
mistaken. I think. Oh, don't dead wrong me on it in case I'm wrong. But like, I feel like they fought before, and this would be an interesting take because both of them have chased championships before, and neither have defended. So it would be interesting to see if that fight, takes place again. That's a rematch that's worth watching. Same with Holly Holm. But like again, this is women's bantamweight. This is par for the course. There's no names. Misha Misha came back after failing at 125 and then coming back and facing I don't mean to, Julia Avila is probably a nice person, but she's a nobody. I'm sorry. Like it what she had to just get a win just to be eligible to be a call out later. I think that's the thing. I feel like she's waiting for somebody to call her out, and then whoever calls her out, that's a name that can like either Raquel or Mara Silva. I guarantee they're going to call her out once either of them wins the title. All she has to do is wait. She has a win. This is like light heavyweight in the year of our Lord 2023, where the belt's literally just jumping hands. Be available.
Oh,
I
I know.
guaranteed. Yeah, a shot's going to come to you if you have a win.
By the way, Pena and Mishite have never fought.
Oh, they haven't? Oh, okay, well, I'm dead wrong then. In real time. There we go.
And now we're on to some of the more exciting finishes, I guess. I'm half tempted to flip back to the bottom of the card and come back up, so we leave these for last. But we'll go in the way we've been going. Cody Brundage defeats Zachary Reese, who was a 6-0 prospect as far as I remember. Beats him by KO, slam, and some follow-up punches. 149 of round 1. This was the the armbar or the triangle one? I forget now.
Yeah, it was kind of a triangle with like sort of a loose arm bar, but the arm was like down in that position.
Where he picked him up, kind of swung him slightly, slammed him down sideways on the canvas, head straight into it. Story was stunned, jumped on top, landed a couple of head strikes, a hammer fist. Just a beautiful performance. I wish I'd picked Brundage because I almost did. But yeah, bad news for Zach Reese, but I dare say he'll get another shot. just one of those crazy fight bonuses of the night.
Yeah, it was a hell of a finish. From my end, there's
Yeah.
really not much to say about it. It was a nice setup and a good slam. I notice lots of times when people are doing like a triangle, they'll put their arm around the guy's leg, and I guess it's not to prevent them from being picked up, but that'll kind of work as a side effect to kind of help you get picked up and slammed. So I'm surprised he didn't hook his arm around the leg, but it was a good finish and it was pretty cool. The 2 slam KOs in a row.
Well, that was the second one, right? Yeah. And then, well, I think that's the thing. If you remember, Cody's coming off of that controversial DQ win over Robert Whitaker's boy. Oh, damn it. His teammate, the smaller, shorter, stockier wrestler from Australia. I forget his name. Anywho, he gets the DQ win off of that, and then comes into this fight, and he's just kind of like, all right, I need to make this count. Like you looked at him, and you're like, oh yeah, he's gonna try to do some shit. And then sure enough, like this dude, both of these dudes who got the same thing that happened to them, literally did the thing you don't do, which is hold on to a submission and risk your own your own risk your own knockout by virtue of trying to hold on to the submission. Like literally they did the wrong thing. You let go so you can get out of the position so you're not slammed KO'd. But they're like, nah, they're not going to KO me. I'm fine. No, you're not. Stop it now.
Yeah. I'm fine. Where am I?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons those slams were legal, is because they were defending a submission attempt.
Yep.
I missed that.
Well, it's the same thing that happened to Rose, right? Josh almost spiked her, pretty much spiked her. Just if it wasn't like it was at a slight angle, so it wasn't considered spiking.
You
but
can,
still,
during sub defense, you can spike.
No, you can't.
Oh, you
spike.
can?
No, you can't spike in the UFC.
I pulled up the rules yesterday.
Okay.
So you can or can't?
Rules if you're defending a submission, you can like slam them however you want.
I imagine there's got to be something in there about spiking, so that way you're not breaking somebody's neck.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
think that's the thing, though, is that both of these were at like they literally picked up the person and then just like just slapped him down on the fucking canvas. Like if you're airborne, the rule of thumb is to let go of the fucking submission. Come on, what are we doing here? But no, that's all. Yeah, it was good finish. It was a nice rebound for Cody Brundage, especially after that DQ.
And then, of course, we had the original and best one of the night, the Drakkar Klose, who did much the same thing to Joe Solecki at 1 minute 41 of round 1, so 8 seconds faster. No follow-up strikes needed, although I believe he did say he would have liked to have landed I think he was laughing with it about the referee, with the whoever was interviewing him. Probably called me, I guess.
Well, here's the thing. I think his was more impressive because he literally it looked like he was picking up a piece of like I don't know what you would call it. It wasn't like a sledgehammer like effect, but it was like close to it. Like he literally picked the dude up, and so like he looked at the ground and was like, "Oh, this is probably not good," and then it was just completely out. And here's the thing. I don't think Drakkar Klose has fought since that incident he had with Joe Stevenson. Oh no, I'm sorry, not Joe Stevenson. Oh god damn it. Little Heathen? Not god damn it. Thank you, Jeremy Stevens. I don't know why I blanked on his name, but he I don't think he's fought since then. Correct? Since that failed weigh in where he got pushed and had like a whole concussion thing happen to him. I feel like that's the case. If not, then but I'll be dead wrong again. That's fine. But
speaking of dead wrongs, I've just pulled up the unified rules of MMA, and spiking an opponent to the canvas on his head or neck is illegal.
Multiple dead wrongs on this show. I love it. But No, like this is good for Jakar. He hadn't fought. He's 35. That's not great in this division. Doesn't mean yet you're out, especially at lightweight. Matter of fact, it might actually just give him one more year of being competitive, and that's it. But good for him. I mean, if you're looking at a guy who had potential and then kind of lost it all after, was Jakar. Like he was on a win streak, and then he fought Beneil, and Beneil put him into Dreamland in a pretty crazy fight that they had. And then he just hasn't had anything of note since. And now he's got this and he's got momentum. It'd be nice to see him get a couple wins together and, maybe get a contender fight at some point. But, hey, just get the win first, baby.
Was it this one or was it the Brundage one where they said, who do you want to fight next? And he went, I want the easiest fight I can get.
I think that may have been him. Yeah.
I thought it might have been him.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. Best after fight speech I've ever heard in that case.
Yep. That's the thing. It's like, yeah, when they don't know what the hell's going to happen next, just give me a fight. I don't care.
And then I'm guessing I was trying to find out what was fight of the night, and I didn't see an official notification, but I'm guessing it was Rodolfo Bellato who defeated Iho Pateria by TKO 4 minutes 17 of round 2. That was a crazy back and forth fight. I'm trying to put it kind of in the order it went in my head, but I think Bellato was kind of ahead in the first round with his striking. Although there was some nice comebacks. I remember a vicious flurry from Pateria, backed up against the cage. I think he might have clipped Bellato on that one. I'm not sure.
I think there was like 17 wobbles and stuns in this fight alone.
Yeah, you could be right there. Yeah, it was very back and forth. So then we ended up with Bellato got clipped, gets taken down or drops down, and then some vicious hammer fist with his head kind of bouncing off the canvas a few times, and it looking like the ref might well stop it. And then, of course, the ref doesn't stop it, and I forget exactly how it was. He managed to get to his feet again, but he then took. Did he take Pateria down and finish him on the ground? Yeah, it was when he grabbed Mount, didn't he, and was just raining the blows down. And you were wondering how long the ref was going to give it, given how long he'd given Bellato. But he stopped it fairly quickly, I think. But there was nothing coming back. There was a definite difference in what Bellato was doing when he was taking shots and what Pateria was doing, because I think he just had his arms covering his head mainly and turning ever so side to side kind of thing. But yeah, fantastic fight. I'll just throw it open. Who wants it, baby?
Well, quick thing. I think it was fair. I think it was close to fair because if you looked at that finish, you could see the sigh of relief. I think he was just like, "Oh my god, it's over. I don't have to worry. It's done." Pateria did a good job of just trying to defend, but like, I think he was just dead tired. Like you saw him drop his arms after that flurry, and you're like, "How the hell is this guy still alive?" And Pateria is thinking the exact same thing because he's just like, "Shit, he's still here." And arguably, I think it should have been stopped. It could have been. I don't know if I take that back. It's arguable you could have stopped it at any point during that like 30 seconds of just onslaught that Pateria landed on him. Because even at one point, like he looks at the ref, he's like, "Are you fucking serious? You're not stopping this?"
Yeah, Tom Jones moment. Yeah. Do I have to 12-6 this guy now or what?
I know, right? Like, then that's gonna screw me over. But like, he just literally he unloaded everything in the kitchen sink and then the neighbor's house as well. Like, he did everything he could to finish that fight, and that dude was still there. That's the thing that was crazy about this is that dude probably got hurt more than I think Pateria did, and Pateria was just literally fucking landing everything that he threw, and not with great effect at certain points, but like still, like he unloaded on him. He was still there. Somehow the ref didn't call it. And then sure enough, like you're seeing a transition. He goes for the takedown, manages to get it. And then just like the damage that Pateria is taking is not nearly as bad as what was given to I forget how do you say his name? Bellato. Yeah. And then sure enough. Okay, yeah. Okay. But he just gets mount and he just starts unloading. Like he's not even throwing with a lot of heavy pressure. Like he's just throwing to throw. So that way I think he was like, "Oh, please God, let him stop it. I don't think I can make it after this." That is a hell of a fight of the night for sure if it did. And again, it's just another one on these. I think on this UFC it was Austin card where it was just like is a great card just because it was full of finishes, regardless if it was short or not. But like it was a good event, and I think this just added to it for sure. This was one of those ones. I think it was you'd call it like a not a trendsetter, but like all right, this is the standard. All right, we're gonna have a crazy night.
Yeah, it started off steady with the well, we'll get to the Hardy fight, but just jumping back, I pretty much had my picks for KO of the year notched up, and now bloody Drakkar Close with that slam. I might have to readjust things now.
Yeah, seriously.
That has to be up there for KO of the year.
Bare minimum.
You have anything on Bellato, Dave?
I don't have. I agree with everything Austin said on the last fight.
Well, why don't you take us away on Jared Gordon, who defeated Wellington Turman by submission, rear naked choke, 1:11 in round 2.
I thought that was a very fun fight. Turman was really good in the first round, and was kind of having his way with him, I thought, and it was just good, action packed, all that, and in round 2 it just fell off, and Jared Gooden came out there and just fucking put it on him, and got the submission. It wasn't a long fight. They both had their moments, and Wellington, it was kind of weird. He almost had like a Potan like style, and he like cut his hair like him and was trying to do that kind of thing, and his chin wouldn't hold up to that. There's only one Potan, and so that was a fail for him.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun fight. Why don't go on, Austin? I know you must be bursting at the seams to get in on this one because you were one of the only 2 people who picked the bloody fight on the server.
Well, I mean, this is a weird one for me because it's like, is it just me or did Wellington Turman look better in this fight than he did in majority of his other fights, right? And I like this guy, and I don't say that lightly because it's like it's hard to find a guy that you're looking at and it's like he still sucks, but you still want to root for him because that's what it felt like. And then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, well, Jared Gooden hits hard still. He's still one of those guys. It's like he's hard to kind of fight because he has an awkward kind of like heavy punch, but slow. It takes a couple of punches here and there, but he doesn't move towards you. He just kind of, shuffles his feet to you, and then occasionally he'll throw a big hand. As long as you kind of play the outside, he's usually that kind of guy that's like not to be the guy that wins those kind of decisions, or he usually wins by finish if he does win. Wellington Turman, I was thinking, I'm like, all right, well, if he's the better athlete, he probably wins this fight in the long run. And then I'm thinking, oh wait, that's right, this is at welterweight. Oh yeah, no, I'm going Jared Gooden on this one. I don't know. It just felt like I was watching a really fun fight. Wellington was doing really good, pretty much winning the entirety of the fight up until he got clipped, and that was it. That's all Jared Gooden needed. He's like, all right, I got this little young guy. I got this little son of a bitch. It's over. Fuck you guys. But good for him. It sucks for Wellington. I truly hope that this guy gets a win soon because the dude's trying. I mean, he's got a good camp behind him. It just sucks when you know that dude puts in a lot of effort, and it has nothing to do with him. He's just facing really tough, opposition. I'm not going to say Gooden is a champion or anything, but like, what are you going to do? This is the UFC. You're going to find hard fights anywhere you go, and even if they're not ranked, it's a tough fight regardless. I think he's going to probably be a better welterweight than he was a middleweight, but still, like, I'm rooting for the guy, but good for Gordon. Regardless, this guy is one of those guys who's like a veteran at this point. He's not young either, so it'd be nice for both of these guys to get a good matchup after this, and just hopefully have better options after this fight.
Yeah, it was a fun back and forth fight. I certainly enjoyed that one. And then one of the fights I thought I was going to start off with a great night because I actually picked this one. Veronica Hardy defeats Jamie Lynn Horth by split decision, which we'll go on to in a moment. Over the full 3 rounds, obviously. Veronica Hardy looked great, to be honest. I've heard Dan talking about how good she's been, and obviously you wonder, it's her husband that's talking about her, so obviously he's not going to say bad things, but she really kind of lived up to the praise he was giving her. I think she was moving very well, had the edging speed, even though she was clearly outsized by Horth. Who I guess maybe couldn't get going for whatever reason for the first couple of rounds. She looked very strong in the third, but Hardy looked great. I'm very, very impressed with her. I can't wait to see her fight again. I'd like to see more finishes, obviously, but it's women's MMA, and we get what we get. But yeah, like I said, great performance as far as I'm concerned. I don't think there was I think most of the fight was on the feet, if I remember rightly. And Hardy looked great. And I'm just repeating myself now, so why don't someone else take it?
I thought this fight was just a kind of boring other WMMA fight. Like, they got some good fights, but this was one of the boring ones. I think a lot of the sentiment and discord was kind of like, oh, it's boring, let's go. And then after that, finishes started happening, so maybe that made it seem worse. Solid performance for Hardy. Good to see her get a win. Even if it wasn't the most exciting, a win's a win. And interesting to see how far she can go in the division.
Interesting. Well, my thoughts were like, I think she could have lost this fight had she kind of like slowed down sooner. I think Veronica looked good right off the bat, and that basically gave her enough momentum to win the fight. I'm not thinking that she's bad. I just think that this was a favorable play of the way the fight went. And I don't even think that she was facing a lesser opponent. I think that her, like you said, Danger, her opponent just seemed to not show up, I think, at this fight. And I think that benefited her because she was a tall girl. I mean, if she starts off a little sooner, probably not getting knocked down, she probably arguably takes that round. And then we're going into the third with that momentum she had. It almost feels like she had kind of almost let off the gas a little bit and was kind of fighting with a little bit more, aggression than, accuracy. But, good win for her. She's got 2 in a row now, and it's women's 125. It's stacked. You got, killers at the top, you got hard fights in the middle, and she just, it's a good time to get momentum going because this division definitely needs contenders, and Veronica's, she's like 20, she's 29, 20. Okay, yeah. She's young.
Yeah, I saw it, but the Horth was 33, and I saw the stat somewhere that if you've got a 5-year difference, you are 63% chance of winning the fight. For that 5-year difference. Because that's one of the reasons I picked Hardy was because I noticed the 5-year age gap, and I thought that would probably make a difference even at women's MMA.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crapshoot sometimes, and I think at this point, if you're looking at that division, this division's got enough contenders in it. They just need to get momentum. Veronica's probably going to be one of them soon at least.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the rankings or anything to see where she is she even ranked yet?
I don't think she would be. No, I don't think her opponent was either. So, yeah, again, she just needs fights. She just needs fights. Get that momentum, keep it going, and then come next year, she'll probably be a contender when the division kind of shakes out its contenders out.
That one judge was very off, was it? Because when they started reading the scores out and it was 28-29, I was like, what the hell's going on?
I think he awarded that second round to her, which was like, all right, if you're looking for things to get, I guess if you squint hard enough. I don't know. Maybe it's close, but not that close.
Maybe that inspired all the other fighters. They were like, fuck that, I don't want him scoring my points. Let's finish this battle now.
Yeah, exactly. What does Dana always say? Don't leave it in the hands of the judges.
So that brings me to the end of the card. It was a pretty good fight night card. Got to be one of the best ones of the year, I guess.
Yeah, I wasn't all in on the Texas theme, but in all the outfits and stuff.
I don't know.
But
The ring girls in Stetsons and boots always look
yeah,
good.
yeah, it was interesting. I guess that, they're trying something new, which is fun.
Yeah, new's always fun, especially if they're actually putting effort behind it. It just seemed like they were like, what can we do? This is our return to Texas. We've already been here, but we want to try something else. Do we have anything? Someone's in the back, like, we got spare
Yeah.
boots. And then the probably person who's writing the broadcast is like, do they have hats? And sure enough, that's what we got. We're like, all right, that's enough. They said it on the broadcast. It's like, looking good. Yep.
It works for the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, so why not?
Yeah. I mean, hey, who am I? Who am I to judge?
Maybe that's what got them their record gate. Yet another UFC record gate. Not surprising when they keep jacking the prices up every show.
Oh yeah, I think these ones are a little bit more affordable, but yeah, I mean, shit, like, for $500 for floor seats, I think, and I mean, Joe was there, Tom Segura was there. I mean, hey, people were there, so it must have been worth it.
And then we had do you want to go on to Dana's supposed special fight that's coming up for 300, or shall we leave that for another day?
I did not see anything about that.
All right. It's just speculation, really, at the moment. Dana says he's got a special fight planned, and no one knows.
Oh, like specifics on like what it could be, or like where it's supposed to be, or like what they were
I heard him
thinking.
call it a super
Yeah, I
fight
think
once, but
yeah, super fight or mega
there's
fight.
been
or something.
speculation like GSP
Okay,
and
so-
Diaz, because they had a grappling match that was supposed to happen but got canceled.
What? Okay, so off topic. What is your guys' definition of a super fight? I guess then, because I might have a different definition of it.
I mean, anyone who's going for double champ, I guess that's a super fight. Other than that, I guess it's some, like Conor McGregor is generally considered a super fight just because of the numbers he